Martin, how's the feel-good factor after digging out a nice result last night when you come into work the next day?
Yeah, it's always a great feeling. The sort of performance was terrific, the result was really fine. I think my own view, I can't say for certain, but I think if we had stayed with 11 men the way we were playing at the time, I think we might have taken all 3 points. It wasn't to be. Backs to the wall certainly in the second half, and it's just a terrific effort. So we're still in the competition. We've a game on Thursday, and try and win that if we can. But that'll come Thursday. The big match is on Sunday.
I suppose if there is a downside, it would be the physical output that went into the second half in particular. Yeah. How is everyone, particularly with that big game around the corner?
Excuse me, we're fine. Johnny Kenny's picked up a bit of a calf strain. We'll see how it is now. I think he's gone for some sort of scans this afternoon, but we'll see. And he might be a doubt. I'm not sure, but he just said he felt it during the course of the time he was on. But hopefully, other than that, we're ready to go.
Quick transitional period for your new striker. Did he train today? What's that integration looking like with a view to the weekend? Yeah,
he trained yesterday with the B lads, and he trained this morning, and he's ready to go.
Extra, I guess, reliance on that, and if Johnny is injured in a department that's maybe already light.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put too much pressure on him. You know, he's not going to be. He's not just going to be the panacea for all our ills and woes and stuff like that. But just let him get settled in. I think he'll make an impact. I hope he does. And but again, I just wouldn't want to be putting extreme pressure on him to solve all our problems.
How has he settled?
He looks okay. Well, he's done fine. He is. He's here. He has a partner and child at this minute, so they're hoping to try and get settled in here in Glasgow as soon as possible. But he's making the commitment. He wants to play well. He obviously wants to do well with us, and maybe as a consequence, he gets himself back into the Czech Republic team.
Could he start on Sunday, Martin?
He could start on Sunday. Yeah.
When will you make that decision? Is it something training tomorrow? Or
yeah, we'll train after tomorrow. Yeah.
How is Kelechi Iheanacho? I understand he was training today.
He trained today. Yes, that's. I think that might be his second day. He didn't travel with us. He's been doing some training, and he did fine today. I'm glad to see him back. That helps us if that's the case. It might be a bit of a stretch to start him in a game at the moment, but at least he's going to be available.
How do you view the game on Sunday in terms of the title race? Many people saying it could be pivotal for your hopes of retaining the title.
It's going to be very big. Yeah, no question about it. If we get beaten, it's a long way back for us. It's a bit of a trek at the minute. So we would go out to try and win the game if we can, and I think that it's not the end of the road, but 9 points would be a lot to claw back, and so many games left. What would that be? 15 after that?
How important is it for you? You say that you go all out to win. It could be a 9-point deficit if you lose. How important is it that you do go there looking for a victory instead of just let's avoid defeat here, let's take a point and get out?
Well, I don't think that's in their nature. I think really, I mean, if you looked at last night at the way we started the game, we closed the players down. We scored a goal from closing players down. So we went to take the game to Bologna. What's the point in sitting back? But obviously, as the game goes on, we get a man sent off. Second half, we had to retreat. They drove us back, as you would expect. Very, very fine side, and we had to. It was all hands to the pump. But that's the way the game goes. And but for us, we'll try and we will be as positive as we possibly can, and we'll try and win. And if we can't win it, we'll try and save it.
In terms of Thomas, you mentioned you didn't want to put too much pressure on him, but is there a confidence in you that should he be called upon to start or make an impact on Sunday that he can, in that sense, that he can make the impact, he can be that sort of game-changing man at the top?
I'm hoping that that's the case. That's why we've taken him on. Yes, I think he naturally wants to do well, and we want him to do well, very selfishly for ourselves. but obviously for him, I think he's capable of doing it, and but it's on the field that counts.
What have you made of how Derek McInnes has gone about his business at Hearts?
Oh, it's terrific. It's really been brilliant. So it's a really great season for them, and they've. I was nearly going to say they've taken advantages of Celtic and Rangers slip-ups, but that's not the case. They've driven on themselves. They've done it, and it's genuinely great credit to them.
I wonder, going into this one, who you think the favourites for the title are at the moment?
Well, I do, let me put it this way. I wish we were going into this game with 6 points in front,
Do you anticipate any more new faces coming in before Sunday?
I would hardly think before Sunday, but we've got the other week then, and I'm still very hopeful that we'll get some people in.
How's the juggling act of getting teams prepared, looking at oppositions, but then obviously going into the last week, having to really knuckle down with the transfers? How's that been for you and the team?
Well, for us for me and the coaches here, it is a bit of a juggling act, I must admit. We're trying to concentrate on the games ahead, which is the most important thing. Still thinking about trying to get players into the football club, players that we think that can help. I think I said in a previous interview, you could add another 15 players to the squad that might not improve at one jot. So you're trying to look for that wee bit of quality, trying to get value for money, if that's the case. All of those particular things go into it. And I must admit, it wasn't something I was thinking about in the 1st of January, Really wasn't. It was welcoming in the new year. I had a brilliant Hogmanay, even though it wasn't in Edinburgh.
I can imagine you miss the thrill when you've been out of the game. You miss the thrill of winning games, being in the touchline, because that seems enjoyable. Is it enjoyable to try and navigate a transfer window?
The transfer window, I thought you were going to ask me, did I enjoy the football matches? No, I haven't enjoyed that for 30 years. But I do. Of course I miss the game, absolutely. And it's a pleasure, sometimes a dubious one, but it's a real pleasure to be back and doing something that you actually loved in many aspects and missed. And just to be on the touchline, arguing with fourth officials is just right up my street,
What are your memories of Tynecastle from your first spell, Martin? It's a bit of a bear pit for games like these.
I think so. Yeah, it has a great atmosphere. It's fiery. It's great, and I think I used to say here outside Ibrox, it was the most intimidating place to go, and I think it'll be a wonderful atmosphere. Yeah.
In your experience, Martin, when you have these sort of top of the table tussles and you do get the win, psychologically, in your experience, what does that do not only for yourself but for the opposition as we look ahead to this run-in?
Well, I think the recent games for us, I chopped and changed the side, and that was down to me for the Scottish Cup match, and then we come up with a big performance here. So the players they're in good spirits, and I take your point entirely about the length of time that you have between the travelling home last night, getting in the early morning, and getting up again for the game. They'll be up for the game, and but that's maybe a time where maybe substitutions might play their part. But it's really exciting.